I'm just losing it here. Like, I don't get it. Like, where does it end? And that's why I'm saying, like, I can't keep defending Colourpop. It has been far too long since we've done an anti-haul on this channel. Needless to say, it is so overdue. We are going to be going over some launches that I just feel are not worth it. I'm going to be giving you my very uncandid, uncensored opinion on these products. And I actually have a bone to pick, and it's with a brand that I really truly love, but I just can't defend it anymore. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. We are going to dive right into it. The first product on the anti-haul chopping block is an eyeshadow palette from Too Faced. Now, this might shock some of you because those that have watched this channel before know that I absolutely love Too Faced eyeshadows. I know people have their opinions on the brand and the shadows, but for me, they just work. I absolutely love the formulations. I have bought so many of their recent launches over the years. This palette, though, in particular, I don't know what it is. There's something about this. Now, the color story is actually quite nice, but it's kind of an odd winter launch. This is giving me spring vibes. Does anyone else agree with this? And I don't know what it is. Now, the only thing that draws me into this palette is the aqua blue shade. It's almost Tiffany blue. That's what it reminds me of. And when I look at this palette at first glance, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. But then I realize what's really roping me in is that bright aqua Tiffany blue packaging and then that Tiffany blue shadow shade that's in there. If I took those two things away, I honestly couldn't care less about the palette. My second beef is that last year, or maybe earlier this year, they launched the Teddy Bear palette, which is one of their smaller palettes just like this one. And I was so disappointed in the formula. I was so bummed because the packaging was so beautiful and cute, just like this one. But I don't know why. I felt like the formula was just different than their other palettes. So for me, this one, as of right now, is going to be a pass. I hope I don't change my mind, but it's going to be a pass for now. Let's talk about Violet Voss. Now, someone actually commented on my underrated eyeshadow palettes video about this particular collection. Now, there are two palettes that recently launched. One is called like I Rust You. I don't understand that name. I think that's what it's called. And then the other one is like a sunflower themed palette. My issue with this is I feel like they could have actually put these two palettes together and kind of turned them into one. Now, the sunflower palette, which is a 10-pan palette, and what I think is missing from this is more of a mustardy yellow. It's missing that really rich marigold, just deep orangey yellow that usually comes from a sunflower. It's just not quite there. I feel like the two yellow shades on the bottom, it's like missing the mark. I don't know. I feel like this could have actually been like a 6-pan palette, actually. We could have done away with some of the lighter shades. It's lacking for me. I feel like there could have been so much more done with this palette. I feel like when I think of a sunflower, I think of browns. I think of that deep yellow gold shade. I think of a summer sky, so maybe even some blues in there, some greens. I just feel like they could have went a little bit further with this. Now, the Rust palette, I do think looks quite beautiful. It actually is somewhat unique. So I'm kind of on the fence with that one. I feel like that one I would be more opening to try. However, there's a lot of shades, and I'm starting to be a little bit more picky with my eyeshadow purchases. Speaking of that, there will be a declutter coming to this channel very soon because I am up to my neck in eyeshadow palettes. It's obscene. So yeah, as of right now, this is a 50% pass and a 50% maybe. This collection from PURE. Now, this was a collection that they did in collaboration with Nabella. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. This palette right here is just giving me extreme anxiety. I know it's supposed to be like a face and eye palette, but if you look at the shades, they're mostly metallic. Like everything in here looks like it has a metallic or somewhat of a satin sheen to it. And there's only one matte shade, which I think is the shadow shade that's brown. To me, this is just, it's missing things. I feel like there was so much more opportunity to fill this palette with more shades, to make it a little bit more user-friendly. It almost looks like it can't decide if it's a face palette, if it's an eye palette. It's having an identity crisis. That's what's going on with this. I think it was just a missed opportunity. Now, the shades in there look like they're onto something. It's very beautiful. I feel like this could have been just a very beautiful neutral palette that could work with a ton of different skin tones. Unfortunately, it just missed the mark. There is so much empty space. Like, why? Who wants a palette like that where there's so much empty space in it? For me, it's going to be a hard pass. Now let's move on to Colourpop. Now Colourpop is not a brand that typically finds its way into an anti-haul because I am a massive Colourpop fan, like huge Colourpop fan. Some of their products were like the first products that I ever reviewed on this channel, so I have a very emotional, nostalgic attachment to Colourpop. But here's the thing, you guys, I can't keep defending you. And here's why I say this. I'm going to put up on the screen all of what seems like is part of their holiday launches, okay? We have these 5-pan little kind of mini bar palettes. To be completely honest with you, nobody needs these. Nobody needs them. Now, I am all for neutrals and having neutral palettes because I'm guilty of this. I own so many neutral palettes that some people be like, you don't need all that. And that's very true. However, like I said, I am changing my way of purchasing at this point, and I am looking for like new finishes, colors that are just a little bit different, combinations of colors that are just a little bit different. And I'm going to be honest, there's just nothing different about this. And the question still stands. Why has Colourpop not formulated or come out with a duochrome or a multi-chrome palette? I feel like if any brand in the mainstream is going to do this at an affordable price, it would be Colourpop. I know that multi-chrome and duochrome shades tend to be a little bit more difficult to formulate. They're a little bit more expensive. But again, I feel like Colourpop could pull this off. Now, if you look at the other collection of these 5-pan palettes, with the exception of the top one, I don't know, that one's up for debate, but the rest of these actually look a little bit different. And I think that they're cool to buy these in a collection or to put them together in a set. You're getting color, you're getting neutrals, and they're all just a bit different. You're getting cool tones. Like, we could have stopped with this right here is my point. Now we also have some eyeshadow quads. Again, what is different about this? What are we bringing to the table? The only one that looks different is the one on the top row that kind of has like those purpley grape tones, mauvey grape tones. At least it's what it looks like to me. That one is speaking to me. That one looks pretty. But again, the rest of these, like we just keep seeing the same thing. We have another launch, which I think might be, this is all within like the past couple of weeks or so. Okay, let's say, let me mention that. Now we're on to these Ticket to Dreamland and On a Whimsy palettes. Now, On a Whimsy on the bottom, if you were to take away the beautiful blue shade, this palette is so incredibly boring. At this point, are we over the pops of color? I would hope so. Now, the Ticket to Dreamland could be interesting, but again, if you take out the green and the purple, it becomes very uninteresting. The packaging is beautiful. It's a stunning concept, but it almost looks carnival-like. So I'm thinking, where again are the golden yellow shades? Where are the gold metallics? Where is the duochromes? Why do we not have a matte aqua blue along with the metallic aqua blue? Where is this? I feel like it's just like we're missing something in these. We need more, and I think we're tired. We are tired, and with the way that things are going right now in this world, I don't know. You would think that some of these companies would kind of read the room. I'm, again, not trying to crap on Colourpop specifically because there is a worse offender, okay? And her name is Revolution Beauty. Now, I've liked some of the products, but we are collaborating with cereal at this point. Okay? Have we run out of ideas? Have things gotten to a point where there's just nothing left to do? I think that some of these brands need to slow it down, perfect their formula, not Colourpop though, because their formula is fantastic, but brands like Makeup Revolution, scale it back a bit, all right? Or Revolution Beauty, whatever the hell. Scale it back a bit. Perfect your formulas, because their formulas are all across the board, okay? And they're in this anti-haul too, but just bear with me. Now moving on to Colourpop, we have the Smoke and Roses palette. Again, at first I thought, oh my gosh, the metallics in here are probably absolutely stunning, okay? A little bit different than what I own. Metallics that are all kind of centered around a rosy tone could actually be quite beautiful. In my mind, I'm scaling back. I mean, if you look at these launches, they all are just so similar to one another that we're launching things that just aren't feeling all that different. This is the Roaring Hearts palette. Now this one is absolutely stunning, but there's also this. This is the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette. I already have this. I mean, it's literally the same palette. There are some different shades in there. This packaging is much cuter to me, obviously. It's just, like I said, it's just not different enough. The packaging is really what's setting it apart and really what's roping most of us in, because if you're like me and you saw this palette, you're probably like, oh my god, this is absolutely gorgeous. I love the theme of everything. I absolutely need to have this. I actually added this to my cart like 4 times and then talked myself out of it. And honestly, a couple weeks or so have passed and I've completely forgot about it. So I'm kind of glad I did that. Then we have the second chapter of the Mandalorian palettes. They launched another one. I'm just losing it here. Like, I don't get it. Like, where does it end? And that's why I'm saying, like, I can't keep defending Colourpop. You know, I've reviewed so many of their products on my channel, and a lot of the times the ones that I review are ones that really truly spoke to me. There have been Colourpop products that I purchased that I've never even shared on this channel before, but the ones that I do share are ones that I've tried or that are really interesting, and I'm like, wow, I definitely really want to share this with you guys. But this is just obscene. I feel like it's just like something every other day. Their recent launch, so this is the newest one, don't worry, there's more. But this one is the, what is this? I think it's called the Feelin' Bubbly collection. This palette right here. If somebody already bought the Roarin' Hearts palette, you don't need this. To me, this is the most bland palette. And again, what's roping me in, and what would rope anyone in on first glance, is the theme of it all. It gets you in a festive mood. It's very smart. Whoever is marketing over at Colourpop is a freaking genius and needs a raise. Whoever is designing their products. But it's just the product on the inside. They have a fantastic formula, but again, how many times do I have to repeat this? This is a repeat. Now, one thing I will give a shout out to in this collection is the Jelly Much shadows that they're launching, along with the 2 highlighters and the lip glosses, okay? These are pretty. I would definitely get use out of these. I don't have many things in my collection that compare to the Jelly Much shadows. Those are unique. The highlighters are stunning. The Super Shock highlight formula is one of my all-time favorites. This looks absolutely beautiful, especially the shade Flute Punch. Oh my gosh, like that is the most beautiful bubbly champagne shade. Like this right here nails it. And then the lip gloss. I almost feel like they could have stopped with this, maybe even came up with some like glitter liners to go with it, some beautiful, very nude, beige, brown-based lipsticks that weren't peachy, but very like golden nude-based, along with the lip glosses, maybe some lip liners to match. I feel like we could have just done away with the palette. The palette just, I don't know, it just isn't necessary. So for the first time ever, I couldn't help myself. I just had to do it. I had to give it to Colourpop this time. They need to take a step back and chill out for a little bit. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, give this video a huge thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe. You guys know the drill. One of the best things you can do for me if you want to support this channel is to share my content. That helps me more than you know. I love you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video. Mwah. Bye, guys.